Right then, as Manchester United are closing in, it seems, on Jadon Sancho, it's probably worth looking at some possible alternatives if United manage to balls it up at this late stage. Now, of course, Jadon Sancho immediately comes in and starts on that right hand side, improves what Manchester United do, adds to creativity, adds to goals, adds to flair, adds to entertainment value, in all honesty, as well. But we're also going to look at a couple of players that United could go for as an alternative to Jadon Sancho if something happens. Because until they've signed and they've been announced in the team, because even we've seen press conferences with players that never even signed for us, John Obi Mikel. Until it's done, it ain't done. So I'm going to look at some alternatives. Now, if we look at what you're going to get from Jadon Sancho, he scored 16 goals and delivered 20 assists last season in just 38 games. That's 36 goal contributions in 38 games. Absolutely ridiculous. Following a even more sensational season, which he had prior to it. He hit the half-century mark for Dortmund as a wide man and put up some of the best assist numbers that have ever been seen, not just in Bundesliga, but across Europe over the last 2 years. And he can really fulfill a creative role. 63 assists in just 2 seasons is quite frankly outrageous. So you know what you're getting with him. He's a dribbler. He's someone who runs at defenders. He commits defenders. He can go on the inside. He can go on the outside. And that's what makes him dangerous. He dribbled past his opponents 96 times in Bundesliga last season, which is the second most in the league, having missed a considerable amount of game time through injury. He's very technical. He's creative. He's known for trickery, his pace. He likes tricks and feints and loves that 1v1 sort of situation. No player has made more assists from carries, and I think this is very important with 7, across the top 5 European leagues last season. And you got to remember how young this kid is as well. And he was also among the group that had 10 direct goal involvements from carries, all despite playing just 68% of the possible minutes in Bundesliga last season. Now, the 7 assists directly from carries, no player made more. What does that actually mean? So that's not someone David Beckham style, Trent style, knocking the ball out of the feet, getting the head up, whipping a cross in. This is someone taking somebody on, often beating a man, and then delivering a cross. This is a throwback winger in 2021. Obviously, it's not quite the byline and probably no-look cross going in for a big target man to nod in, but it's a throwback with a modern sort of twist and a modern sort of slant, and it's just completely different. Now, you got to think as well, since the start of the 18-19 campaign, just a couple of seasons ago, his 41 assists in the league, in Bundesliga, is only bettered across the top 5 leagues by Muller, who plays for a pretty good team, I don't know if you knew that, with 48, and a guy called Lionel Messi, who's got 43. And this is a youngster that's just 21 years of age, probably not hit his peak yet, probably not played his best football yet, and he's already on track to be one of the leading creative forces across Europe. I actually saw a comment yesterday saying, Greenwood's a better finisher, why don't we just stick with Greenwood? It's a completely different role, a completely different position, and just because Greenwood's been playing on the right of the 3 doesn't mean he's a right winger. Jadon Sancho is a right winger, and also people saying he's not even a right winger, he's a left winger. Well, he came through playing as a left winger, but actually, in terms of games that he's played for Borussia Dortmund, he played 45 on the left, started 45 on the left, and he started 75 on the right. So make your mind up. I'd say he's a versatile guy, and he solves a problem on the right for Manchester United. So if he's not available, then who could we turn to? What are the options that are out there? Well, don't worry. This is the short list, and this is what Steve's gone and done for you. I've put together a list of options that could be suitable for Manchester United. Jeremy Doku. So there's a 19-year-old winger, plays for Stade Rennais in France, Ligue 1. He's got 11 goal contributions, which is 4 goals and 7 assists last season. The interesting thing with Doku is, and the X factor about him is, he actually reached 35 kilometers an hour, making him one of the quickest players in European football. However, rather than his top speed, I think it's his acceleration that sets him apart. He is ridiculous over 5-6 yards. It almost feels like he's cheating. He's that fast. He's got that Jamie Vardy level of explosivity and just quickness that defies odds. It's it's weird, and it has to kind of be seen. He also showcases probably the second best dribbling performance among under-20s in Europe. And he's only really behind the older and probably slightly better known, or certainly definitely better known, Jadon Sancho, who recently turned 21, in terms of his dribbling ability. His greatest strength on top of his speed is the dribbling ability. So if you're looking for almost a like-for-like, lesser-known player that could come in and do it, I think Jadon's a much more of a certainty, hence why he's probably going to go for 3 to 4 times more than what Doku would go for if he was sold. He could do the same sort of things, and obviously we don't know how he would translate to England, but he's got unpredictable footwork. He gets into competitive football. He's someone that I don't think is going to struggle in English football. He is tough. I think he's got the X factor about him. I think this is a player that's going to be at a big club. Next on the list is someone that I think everyone's well aware of, certainly after the performance that we saw him put in this season, and that is Rafinha. Rafinha put in a great performance this season for Leeds. I think he's been an incredible signing for him. I think they paid 21 million euros for him. He's 24 years of age. He moved to Leeds last season, and he's had an excellent first season in the top flight of English football, and especially for a Brazilian who they haven't necessarily translated so well to English football. Very hit and miss when Brazilians have been signed. Rafinha's come in and done absolutely fantastic. And he's exactly the sort of player that United are looking for, I believe, when they're looking at Jadon Sancho. We are looking for a right winger, and he's a right winger. He's not a right forward. He is a right winger. He's going to bring creativity. That's what he offers to the Leeds side. He's got a good range of passing as well as crossing. He's not just someone that's going to blindly hit the byline, look down, and just bang it into the box and hope someone gets on the end of it. And again, much like everybody on this list, he's blessed with phenomenal, blistering pace. And he's got the skills on the ball that I think would suit Manchester United's counter-attacking style of play. And I think counter-attacking is where our best football lies. Has been rumoured that Liverpool are a more likely destination for him. But I certainly think that if you fail to land Jadon Sancho for whatever reason, I think Rafinha could be someone that really looks like a signing Manchester United should get hold of. Next on the list then is no stranger really to being rumoured with Manchester United. I believe he's a Manchester United fan and one of the more sought after players across Europe for a while now. He's enjoyed another stellar season with Bayer Leverkusen, and this is Leon Bailey. He scored 15 goals and had 10 assists to go along with the 40 appearances that he made for the German club last season. And he can play in any position across the front three. And I would imagine Ollie would like that sort of versatility rather than someone who's just like, I can play right wing or I could play on the right on the wing. And I think predominantly he's been deployed as a right winger for the majority of the season, but he has also appeared on the left quite a lot too this season. He's got the skill on the ball and, again, the incredible pace that makes him an exciting prospect that is probably ready for the step up now to a bigger club and more of a challenge than he's going to get at Leverkusen. There's been some similarities and some likening of the way he plays to Arjen Robben, which is not a bad comparison to make. And he's a type of player that can come inside, he can go around the outside, he loves that close control dribble, and it's easy to see why Arjen Robben's the guy that they sort of liken him to. Now, he has got a dangerous cross. He's got a dangerous cutback. He's also got a dangerous shot. And he averaged 2.1 shots, 2.2 dribbles per game for Leverkusen last season. That makes him a very difficult proposition to defend against. Now, his directness works for Manchester United. There's a Sancho-esqueness to how direct he is when running with the ball. It works in a counter-attacking team. It works for someone that's going to spread the play and deliver everything that we're looking for in terms of what we get out of Sancho. He's got the crossing ability to find players in the box like Edinson Cavani, and he probably wouldn't cost half as much as what you're going to pay for someone like Jadon Sancho. The fact he's a United fan on top of that only adds to the mixer, and I'd love to see Leon Bailey in a United shirt should we fail to land Jadon Sancho. The next name on the list then is Domenico Berardi. Now, Berardi's been a bit of a talisman for Sassuolo of late. He's 26-year-old. He's a little bit older than the rest of this list, really. But 17 goals and 7 assists in 30 appearances for Sassuolo tells you that there's a real player in it. He could play in multiple positions across the front line, but very, very effective from the right wing. He's a left footer. That explains why he's got more goals than assists. He is coming inside, both looking to score his own goals and also to create goals for others. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is, did Manchester United score? No, fucking happy days. But on top of what he's got in terms of coming inside or going around the outside and delivering crosses in, he's also great at set pieces. And I think that United need to be adding dead ball threats to our arsenal, because United have been, we've been poor in both boxes at set pieces now for, it seems like a long time. And that to me does feel like something that's fixable inside the club. He's also had a bit of a strong tournament showing so far at the Euros, which is probably going to see his value skyrocket. One of the Soccernomics rules is don't buy players on the back of tournaments. But I think maybe it's the tournament that's only highlighted how good Berardi could be. And I think actually the proof is in what he's done at Sassuolo. This isn't a flash in the pan. This is a player that's a top player ready for a top move to a top club. I think he's probably worth looking at if you could get him for a decent price. And I'm looking at Sassuolo, you probably could do that should you fail to miss and not get Jadon Sancho. And finally then on the list as someone that we should look at is Ahmed Diallo. If you fail to land Jadon Sancho, I still think you have to improve the starting 11. But there could be worse things than giving Ahmed Diallo an extended run into the first team. I don't think Dan James has quite cut it, despite having a good tournament for Wales so far. I think that there's levels to this, and I don't see Dan James as being a regular starter for Manchester United that takes us to another level, like someone like a Jadon Sancho would. There is a star quality to Ahmed Diallo. There is a real player in Ahmed Diallo, but it needs developing. He's not there yet. If Sancho's up here, Ahmad's still down here. That's not to say he can't close the gap, and not even potentially that he couldn't overtake him. It's just saying he needs the games. He needs the games to develop. He needs the games to build his confidence. He needs the games to try and test out the theories of what he can do with a football. So it'd be interesting to see if Berardi is able to close that. So it'd be interesting to see if Ahmad is able to close that gap on Jadon Sancho if we don't manage to sign him. If we do manage to sign him, there's no one better for him to be learning off and putting pressure on him in training. And there's no one better for us to be able to rest Jadon Sancho than bringing in Ahmed Diallo, especially if he's been learning alongside him. Well, that's my look at a couple of right wingers that could fulfill a role should we fail to get Jadon Sancho, because as we know in Manchester United, until it's done, it can all go absolutely tits up. So cheers for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Get your comments in below. Do you agree with the list that I put together? Do you disagree? Is there anyone that should have been on the list that I've missed out? And I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.